Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Gyro Step Podcast Network and the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I am one of your hosts, Ty Windisch, and I am joined as always by the maybe optimistic Rohan Katti. Rohan, how's it going?
Should I be optimistic about this podcast, Ty?
I think so. I have a
Okay,
feeling this episode idea could work. It's
okay,
just
we
a
do have
gut feeling I have.
we have we have a fun idea for you guys. But before we get into that,
Yes.
we have some news for you. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, which we know a lot of you are, you can now leave a rating. You can't leave like a text review yet, but you can leave a 5-star rating on Spotify now, which please do if you are.
Yes.
Please do. It'd mean a lot to us. And also, if you're on any other platform, especially Apple, make sure you leave that 5-star rating and review. If you leave a review on Apple with a 5-star rating, we will read it out by the end of the show. So stick around for that. But yeah, make sure just in general, you're subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube, Gyro Step Podcast Network, our Substack, gspn.substack.com. I think that's all the plugs. Let's get into it, Todd.
Well, I just want to say, in addition to us appreciating the Spotify and Apple reviews, I know some people who really like the show have asked before, like, "Oh, do you guys have like a Patreon? Like, I want to really take the support up. Like, this is worth more than free, etc., etc." And very much appreciate that sentiment. If you want to support the show, share it with other people, especially Bucks fans, and leave the ratings and reviews. Like that kind of stuff really helps us, helps the show grow, and it's really good for us in addition to us really appreciating it. So seriously, it is great if you leave that rating on Spotify or rating and review on Apple. Very much appreciate that. I believe we're still one away from 200 Apple reviews, which Rohan, when we started doing the pod together, I don't think we were at 100 yet. So a lot of progress in the last year or two, and it's been awesome. So thank you all so much who have already done this. And if you have not, please drop that rating and review. Okay, let's get into it. Rohan, this podcast comes at a dour time in the world and the country and the Bucks who
Our
played
mental
their
states.
huh?
Our mental states as
Yes,
well.
also that. The Bucks played their two-way players that combined like 85 minutes against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which just shows you that there's nothing else worth talking about
A
from that
29
basketball
point
game.
loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Who are good now, but still, like the Bucks just did not
This is the
have their
Bucks.
players. They had 7 starters out essentially. If you count, a couple of the guys twice, which doesn't make sense.
What?
Well, it's the 5 guys who would start for them plus the 2 fill-in starters.
Just saying you have 7 starters out is a wild statement.
It is, and it shows you how damn beat up the Bucks are. Honestly,
Especially when you
lot
can
of
only
guys
start
out.
5 guys.
Exactly, it's wild, but things just aren't great. There's 50-some players in protocols. Games are getting pushed back. Is it Omicron? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
That's putting up KD and Giannis numbers combined on everyone. So let's zoom out. Let's just, for an hour, amidst Woj bombs and news reports and everything else that's going on, let's zoom out away from that and take a more big picture look at the Bucks. Figure out, do we think, can they repeat as NBA champions? And do they need to, or should they, or can they, or whatever, do any transactions on the way there? So free agents, potential free agents, and trades. We don't get too into roster moves that are theoretical during the year because the Bucks are really good, and usually there's a lot of great basketball to talk about. Right now there's not, so let's lead into the NBA machine that is trade talk and other stuff.
Let's get our
let's
Cream
do it.
City Brick beer out and let's do it.
Let's do it. Cream City Bricks.
Cream
right here.
City Bricks.
I'm almost done with mine already. It's been quite the pod intro here. So ceiling combo. Let's start off with this. Clearly the Bucks are still good. I mean, even in the very 10 million foot bird's eye view sense, they're a top 3 team in their conference. We know realistically they're better than that ceiling wise. A, they just won the championship. They're reigning champs. B, the big 3 playing together has won 12 or 13 or however many games and only lost once with a great net rating. C, the big 4, when Brook Lopez plays, they're 1-0. They trounced Brooklyn and KD and Harden. Like, this is a good team, but are they good enough to win it again?
I think they're definitely good enough to win it again. You mentioned they have a great net rating. I believe it's plus 12 with those three on the court together. Like you mentioned, they've only lost one game combined with those three players, and that was thanks to PJ Tucker and his antics the night before, presumably on the Miami scene.
Saboteur.
I've heard it's a fun scene. I had a friend invite me down to Miami, and I was like, this would be fun, but also like the world.
Just a friend?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
All right, go on. Don't need to blow up your spot.
What? There was no, whatever.
Okay, sure. Uh-huh.
What are you doing?
Okay. I am generating content.
You are good at that. But no, not taking that trip. It's they're a very good trio. That's a very good team. We know that they're capable of winning the title. We saw it with our own two eyes, like four eyes combined between the two of us. So we know it's definitely a possibility. And like, if we're talking about the main competition, especially in the East, they haven't really gotten much better. In fact, some teams have fallen off. Like, take the Bucks and their like who they played in the conference finals, the Atlanta Hawks. They're very underachieving this year. It seems like they were overachieving last year and sort of hitting back down to earth. Am I using that correctly? Whatever, sure. Yeah. They've come back down to earth.
Their wings have been clipped.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I like it. So they're sort of flailing around a little bit. The Brooklyn Nets are reintroducing Kyrie Irving as a part-time player.
Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. He's already in protocols.
Yeah, who could have seen that one coming?
Shocker.
Yep. No, really shocking. Please get vaccinated, everyone.
IG sharing pictures of Muhammad Ali and stuff to compare himself to one of the all-time great athletes and people, which is probably not something you should do. Just generally. Just in general.
If people will make those comparisons, you don't make it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah. If you are that legacy, people will recognize that legacy.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom from me. I should make that a quote graphic. But yeah, the Brooklyn Nets, they're sort of, I don't know if they really got better. Like, Kevin Durant is obviously incredible. He's still incredible. He might be the MVP so far this season. James Harden has looked a step slow. LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, or especially LaMarcus, is being relied upon for big minutes. Blake Griffin, not so much. Now he is, because they have no players.
Yeah.
But when they're all healthy, he was sort of excised from the rotation because he just wasn't that good. I don't know how much better they got. Obviously, Patty Mills is a big addition for them for when Kyrie isn't there. But when Kyrie's there, you're not going to see that much Patty Mills. So I don't know how much better this team really got in the offseason. And you look at other teams around the league, Philly, worse. Knicks, worse. Heat, I'll say better.
Better. Oh, yeah, they're better. I mean, they were last year. They're better now, but
I don't know if they're significantly better.
Still some offensive troubles, I think, with that team, but
yes. When they get all their guys back, I don't know if Max Strus and Gabe Vincent are going off for like 40 a night.
Yeah. Probably.
So the rest of the East did not get super strong. If we're talking about the Western Conference, though, the two teams that have separated themselves are obviously the Suns and the Warriors. The Suns building off their finals run from last season, and the Warriors just sort of getting back to playing Warriors-style basketball, which is not spamming James Wiseman, Steph Curry pick and rolls, and rather playing an extreme read and react system where you have guys who are capable of playing in that system, playing all at a high level. You have smart players. You got Steph, you got Iggy, you got Draymond Green. You've turned Jordan Poole into a great player. JTA is a good player in the system. It's just like Andrew Wiggins is playing some of the best basketball of his career. I'm surprised. I thought that was all going to go away when he got vaccinated. I guess not. No one's asked him about that, by the way. Someone should.
Get in there.
I'm not Warriors media.
That's true.
Yeah. But
they're too busy talking about the record.
The Warriors and Suns are the clear two teams to beat in the West. The Jazz are fake, as they always are. It's just like, do something.
Nobody's in on the Jazz.
No one is in on the Jazz, maybe except for Jazz fans. but it's maybe the West got a little bit better. Would you say?
The top end, I think, for sure.
Because
The
last year
middle,
it was
probably
kind of like
not. The middle of the West looks pretty bad, honestly.
last year it was like who's going to make it out of the West, right? There was like, is it going to be the Clippers before Kawhi got hurt? Is it going to be the Lakers? Is
The
it going to be the
Nuggets.
Suns? The Nuggets, the Jazz. Now it's like, okay, it's going to be the Suns or the Warriors unless something really goes wrong.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think, but I think I think the Suns can be at least as good, and we saw how good they were in the finals. I think the Warriors might even have a higher ceiling if Clay can come back and look good. That's
the X factor,
especially like as good as Ayton was. Draymond on Giannis is an interesting thing, and we know they'll go small. We know like that's just a very capable defensive team, and I've seen some Bucks fans say, "Oh, Giannis would just rampage all over the Warriors." I don't know. They have the best defense in the league right now. They've been a very strong team on that end.
Bigs have been tearing them apart, though.
They have, but they're not going to use Draymond in the regular season the same way they would in the playoffs. I don't know. I don't want to underrate Giannis, but that does seem like the kind of team that
sounds like you're underrating Giannis, Todd.
I don't know. I mean, the Heat do well.
Are you saying he's not good enough, Ty? Is Bucks podcaster Ty Windisch?
Here we go.
Hey, I'm a content creator too, man.
Yeah, that was good. But I would agree. I think you've said this. Like they can absolutely repeat. Like the signs are there. I looked it up. The big three, they played 15 games together, so I think that makes them 14-1. The net rating of those three on the court is plus 12.7, which means every 100 possessions, the Bucks win by nearly 13 points, which is good. That's a very good mark.
It's very good.
So
it's basically they're just destroying.
Yeah, when those three play together, even with all the other guys who have been in and out of the lineup, the Bucks are still an elite team, and it's really that simple. And I think the supporting cast outside of the Lopez injury is also better. Like I think Pat Connaughton is better. I think Bobby Portis is better this year and fitting in more. You get George Hill back. You add Grayson Allen, like maybe Big Rod, who's coming on strong lately.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
I sound like a hype man right now.
Yeah, I know, but I appreciated it. Mamu probably not going to play in the playoffs, but you never know. Yeah, he exists. But I think they're good. I think they can absolutely win it again. But the question is, can they stand pat through the trade deadline and buyout season and win it again? The answer, maybe, probably, maybe. I don't know. But let's assume.
Let's say up front. Actually, no, let's not say up front.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's not answer that question up front. Let's get into what we want to talk about first. And let's start with free agents. So in preparing for this episode, I forgot about free agents that could be added. Full disclosure. And when Ty was saying, oh, I've got some free agents, I went into full panic mode to decide which free agents I could realistically think of. So I'm going to let Ty go first. I'll
do one that's not a free agent yet.
Okay.
Just so I can get tomatoes thrown at me. Hopefully Roma's, not beefsteaks. I'm really particular about what kind of tomatoes strike me. But
you're okay with getting tomatoes thrown at you.
Only if we can make some content out of it. That's the thing. Like
only if it's on video.
If we can get this onto my TikTok, then absolutely. Like sure, let's do it. Just but I need the thrower to come up with the right sound or the right trend for it to go with. But anyway, Blake Griffin. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm all in. I see something there.
I feel like you're convincing yourself out of it.
I might be. I really liked what I saw from him in terms of being like literally a vet minimum guy in Bucks v Nets last year. Like I thought he held up okay, all things considered, given the monumental task of trying to contain Giannis. I just don't know if he'd be as useful, honestly, against other teams. Like I don't think he's going to be that good in space anymore. I just think he is hard to score at if you're going right at him. But I don't know how useful that actually makes him in other series. And if the shot is really gone, which it seems to be so far this year, then it might not be worth it. But I don't know. I just think there's something there, and I would be interested in having him as another big option.
I'm just out. I'm just so out.
Is it because you hate the player or the person?
I was going to say one, I hate the person. Just like I don't know what kind of comedy clubs he's gonna hit up in Milwaukee.
There's a couple. There's some in Appleton. He could do a whole circuit.
Appleton? You think he's gonna go to Appleton to do it?
He had to go to Detroit. I think he can make Appleton work.
Just like while in Milwaukee, that's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah, off days. All-Star break. He's not going to any of the events.
All-Star break. Let me go to Appleton, Wisconsin. Sorry,
yeah.
There's probably people in Appleton.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have Appleton. Don't denigrate Appleton.
I'm not trying to diss Appleton.
Maybe you can hit Soldiers Grove. We know we have some listeners.
Oh yeah, shout out Soldiers Grove,
Wisconsin.
Shout out to those guys over there. Yeah, let's talk about basketball though in terms of Blake Griffin. Like you said, he's not going to be a plus defensively. Like who is he going to guard in the East? Like if there's any
centers,
is he? He's too small.
He's got some thickness, some power.
He's still like height short.
Do you think he would do better on a Jarrett Allen than Boogie? Or would it just be too much of a wash for it to be worth it?
I think Jarrett Allen has really improved his hook game. So
I do too. Okay.
Like he'll just hook Blake Griffin out of the game. Plus he's just too fast. And he can just jump over him.
Yeah, I think you're
like he's not jumping over Boogie.
No, he's just lofting over. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who Blake guards. I was gonna say like a Zion, but he doesn't play games anymore, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're definitely meeting the Pelicans. In the
I know, and that part too.
Yeah, maybe in a hypothetical matchup with the Pelicans. I mean, who knows with this season? Who knows? Like the Bucks having the most legitimate championship in the last 3 years is just awesome.
We like that.
Unless they win it again.
Yeah, then this year was even more legit.
Oh yeah, they had to overcome so much adversity.
It's either fake if the Bucks don't win, or the hardest ever if they do win.
It's like basically the Lakers treatment for the bubble.
Exactly. Except it won't happen in a bubble, so it's already starting out on.
And they already won a legit title.
Yeah.
But yeah. No Pelicans matchup most likely. And I think
we don't need to add the most likely. I think we can say
I don't know. Maybe they trade Zion to like a contender.
Okay, sure.
Maybe Zion goes to the Warriors.
I think Zion playing by then and the Pelicans making the playoff is sadly like roughly similar odds.
Then him going to the Warriors for like Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman.
It's all so close to zero. It doesn't really matter.
Would you do that if you're the Pelicans?
I don't know.
I
think at some point you have to not trade a guy that you draft 1 overall. Like I think at some point you have to figure out.
But also like Kuminga and Moody can play right now. Wiseman is trending to play in next month.
I think they would potentially think about it just because apparently they want to win still this year, which don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, they want to make this finals matchup happen.
Okay. All right, forget it. No more Blake. I don't want to talk about Blake anymore.
I'm out on Blake.
I'm not that interested anymore. So,
okay.
Who's your first free agent?
My first free agent is J Hook.
Speaking of guys who probably can't jump anymore, sadly.
Yeah, but he is long though.
He is very long. He's 6'10", I think, with a long wingspan.
He has a high plus wingspan. I think he has like a 7'4" wingspan or something ridiculous. It's just he's familiar with the system in the 2 months he played with Coach Bud, because he got traded in December, I believe, in the George Hill deal.
Yep.
And he's maybe not a fan favorite. He's a favorite of mine. He holds a special place in my heart. I'll never forget.
I think he's a fan favorite. I think everyone who watched those teams really liked John Henson.
Yeah, just cashing threes in the first ever regular season game at Fiserv. I was there. It's just awesome.
Legend.
So John Henson would be welcome back. It seems just based on his Instagram that he's just enjoying life with the contract that he got paid. And like, you know what? Props to you, man. I'm very jealous.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think the biggest issue with him has not played in an NBA game since that season. The season after, I think, that he got traded. Yeah, it was the season after. I think he last played in the 19. Oh no, maybe it was that. Was it that year? 1920? Or was it the year after?
Season after?
I think it was the season after.
No. I think he last played 2020 with the Knicks.
Well, he didn't play in a game.
Oh,
that
it's
year.
true. So it was 1920.
Yeah, so he got traded from the Cavs to the Pistons in the Andre Drummond trade. That was he last played for the Pistons, an NBA game. So it's just been a while. I think injuries, as we've known from watching him on the Bucks, one of the more limiting factors for Jay Hook. But if he was healthy enough to give it a go, why not? Like, I think I'm more open to guys off the couch than I used to be. Both like Boogie and Wes, who we'll probably talk more about later, have looked okay, especially compared to the guys getting signed now to hardship exceptions. And like I think about, remember when Joakim Noah came out of nowhere and like was really good for the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Like he just showed up and I was like, oh, what a dumb move. He was awesome. And like Nick Batum, who wasn't on the couch for long, but got bought out and just looked totally washed as a Hornet. He's been a great Clipper. So I just think it's good to not write off guys, even if they've not looked the greatest, even if they've been out of the league for a little bit, trying to get right. Like, it's worth giving those guys a chance. So I think maybe John Henson, I'd rather do like the hardship exception if the Bucks are still eligible for one, or even just work him out like extensively, which is what they did with Boogie, in fairness. But I would take a look, sure. Like that's, that could be a fun defensive option at center.
It could be. And
what's Larry Sanders up to?
Ooh, don't tempt me.
I think that's been even a lot longer since.
How about that? Hear about a guy who's like trying to make it back. Greg Monroe.
Yeah, playing in the G League right now, I believe.
Why not bring him back?
Honestly, you could talk me into it. I think his defense is better than people remember.
It's not ideal, but we've also seen DeMarcus Cousins.
Exactly. Okay, next on my list, the newly waived, so Garrison Matthews, of all players, could sign a standard contract, who's been quite good this year, in fairness.
Yeah, you say of all people, like he didn't torch the Bucks.
He just floated around for so long, and now he's just good. Like
he was with the Wizards last year, right?
Yeah, I believe he was. But Daniel House has been waived, who's like
just bubble legend.
Yeah, not really has put it together since then.
Not in basketball. I'm not talking basketball.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Moving on before we get to Ersan, who we're not going to talk about as a free agent, but as a bubble legend, apparently. But Daniel House has not really shot the ball that well, but he's like just an intriguing two-way wing player. I don't know. I would like to give him a look, right? Like a workout, a hardship exception. I don't even think he's cleared waivers yet, so he's not technically a free agent, but he's a guy I think you give a look to and just see maybe he gives you more than Shemi is right now, which is pretty close to nothing or negative.
I think it's one of those guys where you just take a shot and see what you got. Like he's a guy who's been productive in the past, so why not just give him an opportunity? If he's better than one of Shemi, Rodney Hood, Jordan Wara, I guess, just in the rotation, just why not give it a shot?
Yeah, agreed. Pretty boring, but like could be fun.
Yeah, I do not have another free agent.
Trade season, baby.
Let's talk about trades. So, my first trade is with our old friends, the Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball.
Yes, and it's fitting that I just saw a tweet as we're recording. From
breaking news?
Mulhill. No.
Oh,
no, just a Pistons thing from @ShamShamGot on Twitter. Great Pistons guy.
Good follow. Yeah, good follow.
Whispers, this team is more fun to watch with Jeremy out. So why not get Jeremy out and trade him to the Milwaukee Bucks for Brook Lopez, Dante DiVincenzo, Shemi Ojeleye, and like 2 or 3 second-round picks?
Make it 5. If we can get Jeremy Grant, I'll trade all the second-round picks. The added benefit, Adam Silver can't take anything from the Bucks anymore. It's a win-win.
Exactly. You can't take them if they don't exist. But Jeremy Grant, I know this is probably a little unrealistic because if he is on the market, there are other teams who can probably have more assets to trade for a player such as Jeremy Grant. But he would be the perfect fit for this Bucks team. Just as like a 4, just who can just explode offensively and play defense. Like that's Jeremy Grant's MO.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think clearly has been overburdened as the 1 on the Pistons after the really nice start last year. It was a great story. He can't do it, but make him like he's an overqualified 4, And I think you probably kind of convince him he's more, I don't know, like a co-3. He's clearly not, but I think that was his issue with the Nuggets, right? Is he didn't have enough of a role. So maybe you put the ball in his hands a little more or something to try and, keep the peace and keep everyone happy. But that would be a great fit. It reminds me of my Harrison Barnes proposed trade a while ago, and people didn't seem to love it. But I think if you're going to trade Brook Lopez, I don't think you should only look at centers, because I don't think you're going to find a center to replace what Brook has done for the Bucks. So I think you just need to lean into Giannis being more of a center. And I know he hasn't been amazing at his true center. I think you have to lean that way going forward. I think that's the future of the team. I don't think you're going to find...
He's 27 like Giannis as well. He fits the time.
Yeah, it's a perfect timeline fit. I just don't think you're going to find centers who can do what Brook has done. And I think Brook's health is such a question mark that if you can get an impactful 4 who's immediately right away going to be your 4th best player, and there's going to be a little bit of a gulf between him, the top 3, and then the rest of the guys, like that's just a huge boost for the rest of the season. And then you can just get ahead of figuring out how to do this with Giannis and then be super ready to just run out like George Hill, Drew, Chris, Jeremy Grant, Giannis lineups for the playoffs where there's just like no weak link defensively. You're just strong everywhere.
Just supercharged PJ.
Yes, like supercharged. Not the same level of intensity, maybe. I don't think he's going to say that they're dogs, but the offense, I think,
if he says they're dogs, we get mad at Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, we don't like that.
No, that's PJ's.
Got to be a new animal now.
No, and plus, like, PJ won a title with the Bucks.
Yeah, we can be
we
platypi.
We have that respect for PJ Tucker. Like,
Yeah.
you can't come into PJ's house and be saying stuff like that.
PJ, come back.
Please. please. You're so much better than Chevy Ojale, please.
I'm sorry, PJ. I'm sorry.
Do you think like Jon Horst like sends PJ Tucker like a "you up" text? Like,
I'm just saying you could do better. There, I sang on the pod after you said.
Hey, let's go.
Now we're even. Okay, my next trade, or my first trade. I don't even know if I'm all in on this trade, but Dante DiVincenzo for Aaron Holiday. And maybe this is one where I think you could maybe even get a pick. So the pitch to Washington is like, you need more two-way players. Dante has upside. You're not a win-now team, so if you can find a guy to keep around, maybe this opens up, like maybe in a separate move, they trade KCP, and they kind of just slide Dante into that role and say, give us what KCP gave us, which, I mean, good luck, but I think this is one where maybe you get a second-round pick or 2 back, and then maybe that supercharges your, I guess you need Dante for Jeremy Grant, but maybe that supercharges a different trade altogether. Maybe it's a 3-way trade. Maybe you put them together. Who knows? All I know is that I would be very interested in taking a flyer on Aaron Holiday. I don't know if I'm that interested in it, getting brothers together. He's shown some flashes. The shooting hasn't been all that consistent, but
it hasn't been volume. Like I'm just looking at his advanced numbers right now because he's never played like a full.
Yeah, he doesn't play that much. Yeah.
Like if you do per 100 possessions, he's only getting 4.4 3-point attempts up.
Yeah.
It's just not super high volume. I get it in there in terms of like a plug and play guy. Like my default for that type of player to talk about is Tony Snell. But I mean, he was just, I miss him so much. Shout out Snell season. But
maybe we should mock up a Tony Snell trade.
Can we?
Shemmy in 2 seconds for Tony Snell. Call it in.
You know what? This leans perfectly into my next trade.
It does. I think.
It does. My next trade.
There's a backstory to this podcast. Maybe we'll tell you at the end.
Maybe. With the Portland Trailblazers, who I originally, just generally talking, would like to get Larry Nance Jr. from the Trailblazers for Brook Lopez and Jordan Ware. Again, both of these trades are assuming that Brook Lopez is out for the rest of the season. You're not getting anything out of him. Otherwise, I want to keep Brook Lopez. Unless you're getting like a clear upgrade, which I don't think is really possible.
No.
But Larry Nance Jr., solid defender. He's not like a Brook level defender. you're going to be playing a little undersized if you're playing him at the 5. You might run into a similar problem like you do with Bobby. But if you're just looking for like a backup 4 or like a supercharged backup 4, he's your guy. He can play make out of the short roll. He can defend. Like, he's a versatile defender. He's not a great rim protector, but he has switchability. He's a good player. He can shoot the ball well. This season is a little down, but if you look back at his Cleveland numbers, he's been a great shooter on decent volume. You would want that to increase a little bit, but it's still good volume. He's just, I don't know. He's a great person. I don't know. I want Larry Nance Jr. on this Bucks team. And I want to see if we can find a way to bring Tony Snell in here. Talk about Larry Nance. So let me mock this.
I'm up and down on Larry. This would kind of be a buy low. He's not had a very good year. He's made a lot of his twos, but it's been his worst 3-point shooting season since he was traded from the Lakers to the Cavs that season. Never was a great 3-point shooter anyway, but he's at like 27% this year, which is really bad. But the playmaking intrigues me. Like, this is honestly just like a more boring version of the Jeremy Grant trade, where like it costs you less for a reason because you're not getting as good, but it would be nice to add Larry. I think even though he's probably around, if not a little smaller than Bobby, I think you trust him more defensively, but just less offensively. Although, that's not a bad trade-off to have kind of a different kind of player at that 4 or 5 spot.
Also, you can just add Tony Snell to that existing deal and it works because
there we go. So what would it be? Snell and Larry Nance for Lopez and Wara. Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad.
I don't know why you'd need to put in a couple picks there for Portland.
Yeah, unless they really hey, offense first, spark plug, guard/wing.
You know what? You're not wrong. Like, they might actually want a guy like that, and especially if they're eventually going to lean into a rebuild. Like, Wara's decent.
I think they're going to need some picks.
Maybe some second-round picks.
Yeah. It makes more sense if they trade Nurkic, although maybe not if Brook's not going to play. Maybe it just doesn't matter because I think Nurkic is expiring anyway. But
yeah, and I don't know if I would do that from the Bucks then.
No, I mean in a separate deal. You don't want Nurkic. I'm not interested in Nurkic.
No, I used to like 2 years ago. That's been floated
to me, but I don't think he moves well enough. He's very inconsistent these days.
It's just he's piled on a lot of injuries.
Yeah, it's the thing.
I feel bad. He put up a 5x5. Like, that's insane.
That is, he was a menace. Like, in his early Portland days, he was a game changer for them. That was the one big move they made that worked out.
It was like, that was the Nurkic Plumlee swap, right?
Was it a swap?
I think it was.
Maybe it was. I remember they signed Plumlee. I didn't. Maybe that one. No, I think you're right. That was a swap.
It was like a weird trade where it's like both of them didn't know what to do with the other.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those where the Nuggets had to pick between Jokic or Nurkic, and you think all the time. I don't know if it was ever actually close, but imagine if they had sent Jokic to the Blazers.
Yeah, it was Nurkic and a Memphis 2017 first to the Blazers for Plumlee, cash, and a 2018 second-round pick.
I think that first became Wade Baldwin.
Sure.
I could be wrong.
That sounds right.
I could be wrong, but I think it did. Now I'm not sure.
That sounds right.
But anyway.
That'd be a fun trade. Plus, we get Tony Snell back.
They have so many wings at that point. Like, it'd just be ridiculous. But
no, it's like you're getting Giannis's guy then.
That's true. And just overall, just a good player. Like, I like Tony Snell.
Yeah, what's not to like about Tony Snell and his BlackBerry? You can have a BlackBerry with this coaching staff. Did
you see the birthday cake they got him?
It was just incredible.
It was a BlackBerry. It was really good. Do you think it was BlackBerry flavored?
Ooh, that's a question. Portland media, we need to get we need this.
Danny Meringue of the Jacked Ramses podcast, which you should listen to for some great Portland Trailblazers takes, which is tough lately because it's not a fun scene. But Danny does a great job. Blue Wire fam, shout out. But we'll have to find out. Okay, speaking of wing players who are stout defenders and can shoot the three, Oklahoma City, not a basketball team, a Ponzi scheme. So the Bucks send Shemi Ojale and 2 to 3 second-round picks for Kenny Hustle, Kenrich Williams, who I did not know before looking this up for the pod, has shot 40+% from three on low volume, but still over the last 2 years, and is an exceptional defender. It's basically like Shemi's like Shemi's you, and Kenny Hustle is the guy she tells you not to worry about. Like, it's the actualized version of what we wanted, and if we can just trade and get it, that's ideal.
The actualized version of what we wanted was PJ Tucker.
Listen, I know people want us to stop talking about it. I get that now. I don't understand it. I get that as a response.
Do you think Jon Horst, like I talked about the U up text, do you think if he doesn't get a response, he just goes to PJ's house and starts serenading? Like PJ Tucker, like, I know I can treat you better than he can. And then you're just like, come on, come back.
I wonder what songs PJ puts on for Bucks ownership. Probably like DMX or not something very sweet.
Not very sweet. But no, Kenrich, I'm all in on this deal. I'm all in on this deal. Kenny Hustle would be fantastic. You mentioned Daniel House earlier. I think it's just a better version of Daniel House in every single respect. And again, like, you'd have to trade for him versus signing him off the street, which, you know, is the nature of the beast.
Which is actually, like, from a tax perspective, cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're swapping in a contract versus to sign someone. The Bucks would need to open a roster spot. So maybe that's trading a guy to OKC who is $23 million or whatever below the salary cap floor, but they don't have a roster spot right now. I believe they need to open up one of their own. But a trade it's cleaner. It's cleaner. It costs less money, assuming you shed in the deal. But like if they cut Shemi to sign Daniel House, that's 2 contracts. Well, it's 1.5 because House is only half the year, but it's more than just a 1-for-1 on the cap.
Yeah, for sure. So Kenrich Williams would be a fantastic addition. He'd be a nice backup 4. He'll do everything you want. He'll go make the hustle plays, as his moniker indicates. It's just, he's one of those guys. He's just, dog feels strong, but he'll go out and get it.
It's like an aggressive zebra. He has long strides. I don't know. If they acquire him, I feel like I'd have to get like a aggressive zebra jersey with his number or something.
Absolutely. Can we make that happen? Bucks, if you're listening to this, can we make this nickname happen? Once you acquire
the roster move is really what I care about. The nickname is secondary, but
no, we're assuming the roster move happens. Come on.
Okay, yeah, fair. We are prophetic rarely. Is there anything we've seen coming major? Like we had no idea about Drew.
DeMarcus.
Boogie, yeah.
Yeah. We've been talking about DeMarcus. We've talked about
actually, Drew. I don't think I showed you this. Did you see that I nailed Smart and Mamu starting the night before?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. That was good.
So I guess that counts.
Come on. Let's give ourselves some credit.
Yeah. Let's get aggressive zebra.
Yeah.
If you agree with this roster move, just don't explain it. Just at the pod, at Eurostep Podcast.
Pod.
Damn it. At Eurostep Pod or at Ty Windisch or at Arcadi
Let me
Jr.
check. I think I'm wrong.
Tweet at us and just say, I want aggressive zebra, or go get aggressive zebra.
Or no, email at eurosteppod@gmail.com. Tweet us at Eurostep Podcast.
There it is. Just let us know if you want aggressive zebra. And it's just, I love the out of context pod tweets.
Oh, I love it so much.
No one else has any idea, and it's just like Rohan's T-Pain was great, or like those are my favorites. So let us know if you're interested in aggressive zebra.
Oh yeah, aggressive. That's a fantastic nickname.
It sounds like one of those like auto-generated gamer tags. Like you get a new Xbox, it's like, hello, aggressive zebra 346.
Sounds like a bot. If you kill this guy in a BR, it's like, oh, that's a bot. Aggressive zebra. But yeah, no, that's a fantastic trade. Those are, I think all of these trades, like maybe the Jeremy Grant one is probably the least feasible, but this Kenrich Williams deal is probably the most feasible. And honestly, maybe the one I'd be the most, actually, no, I'd be very excited about it.
If they get Jeremy Grant, that's stoked levels of excitement.
Yeah, but like the nerd in me wants to get super excited about Kenrich Williams.
I would be because I just think like they would be so ridiculously stacked. Like the back five, like there's bench five without even without assuming Brook, who Brook could come back in this scenario, but even without Brook coming back, would be George Hill, Dante. Dante is still around in this trade, so George Hill. I'll just say Dante and or Wes, whichever one. Pat Connaughton, Kenrich Williams, and Boogie.
Oh my!
That's a wild bench unit. Like the Bucks have had starting fives that were like at that level or worse.
Yeah, that sounds like a team Giannis dragged to the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's not that far off from a team that Giannis dragged to the Eastern Conference Finals, especially given the way Chris played in some of those earlier series.
Oh yeah, yikes! Oh, that pull-up three still haunts me. Just. Everyone listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think all of these trades would actually get excited. I forgot to mention with my Jeremy Grant trade, if they can't get Jeremy Grant, maybe Kelly Olynyk would be a fun option too.
The clinic.
If you're looking to maybe shore up your five spot a little bit. Let's say DeMarcus isn't working out as well, which by the way, we should just talk about. He's overextended. That's why he looks really bad. Like given he hasn't looked great, but that's because he's starting.
Yeah, I think the games he looked, it's exactly like George Hill, where I think the games where he's played the role that's intended, he's looked really good. Like when he's coming off the bench and Giannis and Bobby are playing, and Boogie is just coming in with one of those guys or just a few minutes without them, I think he's looked really good and he's been productive. And that's the thing. Like they have too many guys who just don't do enough. It's nice to have. He's going to do stuff. Like there's going to be shots, passes, like Boogie's going to be involved, fouls, plenty of fouls. But like when he's starting, it's just like that's too much. He's not supposed to. He's not meant to be a starter. He's not even close. Like he's supposed to be the third or fourth big in terms of role. And when he's that, I think he's fine. I no longer think that he's ever going to be able to do more than that. And that's fine. Like he's a vet minimum guy they added in December. Like you should not expect him to start games without the Bucks missing a beat.
Exactly. Like just give the guy a shot. I know he's looked not great defensively, but if you were expecting him to be a defensive stalwart, your expectations were too high.
Yeah, at any point in his NBA career ever, your expectation was too high if that's what you expected out of DeMarcus Cousins.
Like it's easy to think like, oh, Brook Lopez is out. Like Brook Lopez is a great defender. That's why you're seeing a lapse on defense.
Yeah.
I think all of these free agency trade things, it's really just shown me that this is a good roster.
Yeah. I think good might be underselling it. I mean, if they can be relatively healthy come playoff time, I think you've got to like their chances against pretty much anyone. Like,
and this brings us back to the question that we didn't answer before we started this segment. And that's, can they still win it all without Brook or without making any other moves, I should say? Yes.
Yeah, if Brook can come back, definitely. Even if he can't, I think it is possible that they could do it.
They have a puncher's chance of doing it.
Yeah. And I think really what it comes back to is the big three and more so Giannis. Like, they have the best in the world. And people will argue for whatever side. I'm with Mamu. I'll take Giannis against anyone. And he's just getting better pretty much all the time. I would not ever bet against that guy. I'm past the point of betting against Giannis. I mean,
you were just betting against him earlier with Draymond, so let's not get too excited to your time.
Just had a stare down. If you're watching the YouTube, it's pretty intense. But I'm not.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah. I've seen him overcome enough long odds that I'll ride with Giannis. I said Draymond could do a good job. Not that he would win a series.
Okay.
You pick against the Bucks in the playoffs more than I do.
I did it one time.
That's more than I did.
That's fair. Honestly, you know what? That's right. That is fair.
But no, I'll take it. I'll ride with it. So that leads to another question. Would you be disappointed if they didn't make any big moves?
Yes. Because like we just outlined, there are options of it. Well, maybe not like a big move. A move for a big, sure. Made myself laugh with that one.
Ooh.
Yeah. wordplay in that.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. I would be a little disappointed because we just highlighted a bunch of options that are gettable, at least a couple options that are gettable. And we've seen like Shemi hasn't worked out that well. Big Rod is, he's coming, but it's like
I've been intrigued. I've been intrigued by Big Rod over the last week. We'll gotta see if he can keep it up. But so far, so good from Big Rod. I think he's maybe getting a little healthier, hopefully. I don't know.
Hopefully this Achilles thing is just a temporary thing that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
But he has looked good. He has definitely looked good in these last couple games. We'll see what happens with Dante when he comes back, when he gets out of health and safety protocols. I'm very excited for that debut.
I know. I can't wait.
But yeah, it's just like I would be a little disappointed because they can make something happen. And there is like, now that they got Boogie, and I know that's not like a perfect addition, but there's still like the next hole on the roster is a backup 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I wouldn't necessarily be disappointed. As we've outlined, I don't think they need to do anything, but I would like to see one of these roster spots, really at Shemi, that just has not been productive, flipped into something better. And I think Jon Horst's MO has been to really uncover every stone and be very aggressive. So I'd actually be surprised if nothing happens. I don't know if I'd be disappointed though, just because I am such a believer in this team. I guess it also depends how much other teams upgrade, but I don't think the Warriors will do anything big. I don't think the Suns will.
They never do.
I think the biggest upgrades some of these other teams could make though are just internal. Like if Kyrie does decide to show up for 35% of the Nets games or whatever, Clay getting healthy, like those things could be tough for the Bucks. But I just think, maybe their equivalent is just getting Brook back if that's going to happen. So I think that would probably be my read if they're not very active through the trade deadline and free agency. Maybe they have a better outlook on Brook than we do. We never know, but that would make sense if they're just like, no, well, we're going to hold out. We got Boogie to sponge up minutes. We think we can get Brook back. We think with those 4 plus all these depth pieces, we can hang even with Clay and the Warriors or Kyrie and the Nets.
Exactly. So I don't know. I'd still hope they make at least one.
I think they will. Jon Horst does. Jon Horst is about it, man. Like this is a
Trader
team
John.
that leans into transactions. Trader John 2.0, I may say.
Oh yeah. I guess is that the prereq for the next GM? You have to be named John, but it has to be a different spelling. What's another like JAWN?
JAWN, yeah.
Is that how some people spell John?
I think so. It's gonna have to be. You know what? I should get ahead of this.
Oh yeah, John Gonzalez.
Yeah, John Gonzalez. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should get ahead of this or one of us change our name to a different John. Maybe we'll be next up.
We'll be guaranteed. I think that's how that works.
How could they say no?
We'll see on their Glassdoor posting for the general manager.
You
think they do that?
No.
Don't they have to though, technically?
Maybe. They post a lot of jobs. I don't know if they would do that one, but I think it should be you because I think I was pretty high on the Shemi thing, and the way that's worked, I don't know if they want to go with me right now.
Oh boy.
No pressure.
It's a lot. That's a lot of pressure. I think I can make it work though.
John Katti. Oh, it sounds like John Gotti. It's menacing. I like it.
My first order of action is to bring PJ Tucker back.
By any means.
By any means necessary. I'm just gonna go whip out I'm gonna shore up my violin skills. I'm gonna go to PJ's house. I'm trying to learn how to play the violin time.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, that we have to figure out. We'll have to talk. We'll have to figure out some incentive. And if the people do it, we need Rohan playing violin on the pod.
Oh God.
Let's see. I
impulse bought a violin a while back.
No one else has ever said those words. No one on earth has said those words. I always wanted to learn. That's fine. No one has ever impulse bought. People impulse buy Slim Jims. A violin. Go on. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're talking about me as a GM. Like, we don't need to go on. Talking about me as a GM of the Bucks after I changed my name to JAWN John.
And play violin to get free agents. You're going to love this. More of this coming if you sign with the Bucks.
I mean, what was some of the free agent pitches that like didn't James Dolan like play with his band once or something?
I think he did. Which shocking that they didn't get anyone. JD and the Straight Shots will name a song after you if you sign here. No thanks.
I'm good, fam.
I'm all right on that one.
I'll get an actual band to name
I'll get G's Louise. I trust them a little bit more.
Do we have anything else to talk about in this episode, Ty?
I don't think so. I think we're feeling good that we distracted ourselves from the harsh reality of the world for a little while here.
Yeah, hopefully we distracted all of you for a little bit. We tried to treat this like an all-star break episode, so we could just sort of like take a little bit, relax.
Yeah,
just sort of chill out. But hopefully you enjoyed this ride with us.
Actually.
Wait. Yeah.
We'll probably record again, but if not, I mean, have a Merry Christmas and holiday season.
Yeah.
And all the other holidays, I'm not sure on the timing. I may be off, but happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Kwanzaa. I don't know what people say, but enjoy all your holidays, your festive winter holidays.
Exactly. No, that's a good shout out. Thank you. I forgot about that. I don't even. What's the date?
It's the 19th. It's the 19th. We're addicted to this. We'll probably record again, but just in case.
We did an impromptu playback room for the second half of Cavs.
I can't believe that.
While they were getting blown out, we're just like, we need to talk about this.
I couldn't do it alone. I was like, I need.
We are about it.
Yeah. We really. It's kind of sick, honestly.
Hopefully you guys enjoy them. Hey, we do it one because we enjoy it, but we also do it because you guys seem to enjoy it as well. And we're gonna do our best to create the best content for you out there, all across GSPN, the Gyro Step Podcast Network. And if you missed it up top, I'm gonna re-emphasize it. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple. On Apple, you can also leave a review, which we, like I mentioned up top, we will read out on the pod. Ty, let's hear a review here
from a very sage listener, sage_Alex, who wrote in the title of this, of course, 5-star review. I came from Spotify to review this awesome pod. Well, guess what? Go back and review it again, please.
But also, thank you. That is above and beyond. That is dedication.
That is dope. Alex says, everyone on GSPN is great, but this is usually where I get thrown into the mud. But for once, that was not in the review. Here's the full review. Everyone on GSPN is great, but Ty and Rohan are my favorites. Good luck to Rohan in pursuing that medical degree, and keep up the great work, everyone. That's a nice review. It's very nice.
Thank you.
That's very nice. I like that he complimented Adam and Jordan while recognizing we're built diff. Sorry.
No, shout out to Adam and Jordan.
yeah, of course.
No, of course. It's just like people choose favorites. It's like, you have a favorite parent. It's like if your parents are Gyro Step and Win in 6, Alex chose Gyro Step. Yeah. But the great part is we're still all one big family.
Exactly.
That we all love each other.
Exactly.
And we're all on the same podcast feed. That's what families do, right?
Yeah. If your family doesn't podcast together, is it real? I don't know.
Well, I know GSPN, the GSPN family is real. Make sure you're subscribed on your podcast platform of choice. Leave that 5-star rating. If you leave a review on Apple, which is the only place you can review it, we will read it out on the show. Thank you, Alex, for that wonderful review. Thank you very much. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube Gyro Step Podcast Network. Make sure you're subscribed to the Substack, gspn.substack.com. That's where you can get all of our writing, just like post-game stock markets after every game, plus writing from all of us on various topics. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that as soon as a new piece drops. We're trying to build that a little more. So make sure you subscribe to that. Follow all of the socials. Follow at Katti Jr. on Twitter for me, at Ty Windisch for Ty. Make sure you follow the podcast at Gyro Step Podcast, at GSPN Hub. Just follow all of the Twitters. We know you're already there, so might as well follow it anyway. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this second round edition of this podcast.
The podcast's so nice, we recorded it twice.
Yeah. And we will talk to you next time.